Welcome to the countdown. While you wait for the show to begin, try to relax, grab a drink, sit down, and just enjoy the music.
Yeah. Ooh, whoa.
Don't Christina it out.
Okay.
A little bit of land goes a long, long way. If you believe fracking is okay, a little bit of land goes a long, long way. Sign the lease, bring the rigs today. Everybody say money, 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 more money, money, more money, money.
She looks metallic.
Though I can't quite recall overnight sensation.
Welcome to the shop. We're finally back after the Rona paid us a visit. Compliments of Mr. Invisible. Yay!
Hello.
Hello. I dragged him here because he gave me the Rona, so he owes me a favor. Come on, greet everyone.
Hello,
Now,
everybody.
let's talk some shit. Do you think Sen is fat? Sen, we love you. We're just joking. Why are you always so shy? It's been 3 years. 3 years. We need to make a celebration for the 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, next week. I also wanted to have a video out, but as usual, we are late. And it's your fault, as usual. It's always your fault. It's always his fault. I'm telling you, it's always his fault. Moyo Adigun says, hello, Mr. Super Visible. You're super visible tonight.
Yes, for 2 minutes.
Speak in the microphone. They cannot hear you.
For 2 minutes.
For how long?
For 2 minutes.
For 2 minutes. You heard it right. He said 2 minutes. So tonight, happy Easter, everyone. By the way, we are completely charged after that Rona pause. And we're going to talk about episode 14 since we didn't have a live stream. No, where are you going? You stay here. Since we didn't have a live stream last week. And we're going to talk about the juicy reunion, aka... Yeah, let me touch you. It gives me confidence while I talk. Let me touch your leg. AKA the very definition of deflecting, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, So, what did you think about episode 14? Do you even remember episode 14?
No.
No,
not
good.
really.
That's fantastic. We are professionals after all. Okay, you can leave. Bye. It's been nice to have you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
My God.
What?
He is so unsupportive, I swear. He is so unsupportive.
Fuck you.
Okay, I should go fuck myself now. Let's have a little bit of a drink and then we start. We didn't buy lime, so it's just plain sparkling water.
We have lemons.
We have no, I don't like lemons. I always have limes and red M&Ms. Now close the door. Close the door, it's cold. I need to heat up the room. It's too cold in here. Let's greet the chat. Welcome, everyone. We have Metalhead Girl, Mojo Adigun, Felicia, Johnny Boy Toy, Sing Blue Silver, Jennifer, Sen, Toronto Sherrod, Christus, Peach, Farrowin, Sleepy Rabbit, Tai Tai, House of Down Boots, Valenska, Deborah, and everybody else that joined in right now. Thank you so much for coming. So, let's start a little bit. Oh, Cat in the chat just joined. Thank you, Cat, for coming. So, we're doing episode 14 and we're doing the reunion. If you're not subscribed and happened to stumble upon the channel, please subscribe. It's a huge help. We are 300 short of applying for those sweetie couple of dollars that we get for every live stream. I'm feeling my inner RuPaul. So, comments at the Chop Live, they will be highlighted for me, and let's begin with episode 14 really quickly because we need to get to that reunion. Now, we are back in the workroom, and of course, one last time, there is always time to shit on Lucy. So, Lucy was just sent home, and Lux starts accusing her of playing the game, which is interesting considering all of the things that we talked about it already. She just doesn't do it in a confessional, she also does it in the workroom. Of course, Mistress nods because wink wink, nothing to see there, nothing is really happening. So our first introduction to episode 14 is that Lucy was playing the game. This is very interesting, as usual. Now, the day after, Mamaru comes in and announces that the maxi challenge for reaching the top 3 is going to be filming and writing lyrics for the music video of Blame It on the Edit. Which, of course, it's the well-known gaslighting sensation that you should all be comfortable with at this point. We made a video about it. I think it was pretty exhaustive of the whole thing. I love the intro because if you're going to blame it on the edit, bitch, you're the one who said it. So if you don't remember, go to the main channel and watch it because it's on spot. So after all of this, the girls are going to have a little bit of a Tic-Tac lunch with Rochelle, which I don't know if any of you actually watched it. I find it pretty cringe at some point, not because of the backstories for the queen. I respect all of that. It's just like they're treating them like dogs on a leash. Okay, now open up and give me all of your past trauma and let's discuss it for the camera and for the viewers. So we see the girls writing the verse. We see some little bit of choreo rehearsal, a little bit of filming. We don't see them recording the lyrics. Of course, we don't see them because among all of them, at least the remaining queens, they're not exactly well known for being able to hold a tune. So there is a lot of auto-tune going on. Nothing wrong with that. It's, television. But I would have liked to actually see them try, to have an idea of who did better from that point of view. But we don't get it. Instead, we have a Tic-Tac lunch with Rochelle. Now, Sasha, Anitra, and Lux were kind of okay. They opened up. They talked about their performance during the filming for the show. They talked a little bit about their past. There is some editing magic for Sasha at some point. I don't know if any of you noticed. It was also posted on our Discord, I think also on Twitter. It's one of the few things that people are finally starting to catch up. For me, it was just a winning lap for Sasha because clearly she won this season and everybody knew it from the very beginning. Nevertheless, the most interesting part for me was Mistress's interview because she took the opportunity to, guess what, shit on Lucy a little bit more. And for the first time in the entire season, she tells us that Lucy was different on camera than what she was on camera. What does she mean by that? She doesn't explain it. She leaves it to the audience and, the edit through the audience to come to the conclusion of what it really means. Of course, everything comes off as if Lucy was incredibly shady. She portrayed somebody that she was not, that she was hiding a different persona outside of Drag Race. No mention of the possibility that people might actually edit themselves when they are on camera, because the edit is not to be trusted, the producers of Drag Race are not to be trusted, and most of all, the public, who gets gaslighted over and over again, unfortunately cannot really be trusted. So every queen edits themselves. But even though everyone knows this, the fact that Lucy probably edited herself is passed off as if she was trying to portray a fake persona, and there is a huge difference about that. Of course, Mistress does no effort to actually explain all of this. She leaves everything up in the air, up to interpretation. Of course, the edit picked up on this storyline. What I found really curious is that if this was an issue, at this point, they have been filming every day for 3 weeks. How come it never, ever was mentioned before that? How come? Which was really interesting, because when some queens acted very, very differently off camera, comparing to what they were actually doing on camera, to such a degree where it was so visible that everybody started talking about it, we usually saw it mentioned way before. But conveniently, this storyline comes at the very, very last episode. And I can assure you, it's not an effort to cover up the fact that somebody tried to play the game not so nicely and they had to come up with an excuse last minute. Of course not. That never happened. You didn't hear it from me. You didn't hear it from anyone. Let's go to the comments for a moment and see what everybody thinks about this. Farron, yeah, tell me about the episode I gave up on 5 minutes in. Don't worry, I tuned out for most of it because, as you know, I've been speculating about this since the beginning. The episode order was, in fact, 16 episodes again. So, of course, we had a non-elimination episodes, and everybody knew at this point that this was 99% going to be a victory lap for Sasha this entire episode. But we had a side of plausible deniability with Mistress and Lux, which somehow made the episode more bearable, more entertaining from, you know, a viewer's perspective. From a social perspective, from an audience gaslighting perspective, it was not particularly good, but you know, there are always 2 different ways to watch this show. I enjoy both of them, and I try to do my best to bring the 2 points of view together, because that's where the really interesting part come in. Christos, Mamaru should have said the winner gets 3 RuPaul's badges and makes it automatically to the finale. Oh, by the way, did you notice that in this episode, everybody kept repeating, it's going to be a top 3, it's going to be a top 3, it's going to be a top 3. And I was like, yeah, sure, it's going to be a top 3. I mean, you have 2 people to whom you made a partial effort to cover up the shit that they were doing, and then you have the winner. Are you really telling me that you're going to send Anitra home at this point? Because that was never going to happen, and representation spots are definitely a thing. So personally, I had no doubt that this was going to be a non-elimination episode. Was it a wasted double shantay? Absolutely, because Anitra and Marsha gave one of the best lip sync in the history of Drag Race. Second only to Laganja's lip sync, and second only to the All-Stars 2 lip sync between Tatiana and Alyssa. So, personally, it was a complete waste. But then again, they kind of halfway fucked up this season. So, let's be grateful that Anitra is still there. Alec, hi, I'm late, but I hope you're feeling better today. I'm feeling great. It's been nice to just sit down and heal for a couple of weeks. Oh, by the way, it wasn't as bad as last time, so don't worry, we don't have like any permanent problems. I didn't have much fever. What I had was the sniffles for like a good week. It started like on Wednesday and it finished at the beginning of this week. So, you know, last Sunday I actually wanted to come on Livestream. Then I was like, do I really want people to hear me blowing my nose for 2 to 3 hours? And then I was like, you know what? Go to bed, rest. We can catch up next week. And here we are. Fei just joined. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Christos, wait, the entire season is filmed in 3 weeks? 3 to 4 weeks is the usual time. I cannot guarantee you, of course I was not on set, I cannot guarantee you that this season was filmed in 3 weeks, but on average take 1 or 2 days per episodes, maybe a couple of episodes take 3 days. Of course 1 day for resting, even though technically they are not under contract, so they're not under a contract which guarantees minimum benefits, like a minimum wage contract, for example, so they could be made to work every day. The problem is you cannot do this with the staff itself, so they have to have their day off. But then again, you can hire more staff and have them on a rotating crew so that you could theoretically film every single day. I don't think this happens. It's also a matter of practicality, and it's also a matter of giving these queens at least a little bit of rest. Otherwise, they are unable to make a show. And the queens are 90% of this show. So I do think they do get a day off. I don't think they get 2 days off. It's just one, and that's it. And in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks, you could reasonably film the entire season. Maybe 6 if they take it a tiny bit slower, but I would say between 4 to 6 weeks is probably the range that we get, especially for a longer season, which films 14 actual episodes in summer. Sen, I'm also feeling better. Got to love being synced together. Yes, that's a way of connecting that we never tried before, did we? Marzana, we have a saying. Treat your runny nose and it stops in a week. Leave it be and it stops in 7 days. That's amazing. I mean, I still have a little bit of the sniffle. I should probably blow my nose. I'm trying to save it so that you don't have to be subjected to that. So, moving on to the episode. Now, during the filming for the actual video, there is a lot going on in here. Of course, there is. We only see the queens rehearsing and filming the part in which they are all together. We see nothing of the solo part, which is, I think, a good 60 to 65% of the whole performance. They also change outfits, so of course this was probably filmed, I would believe, in a couple of days. 1 day for the actual choreo, recording the verse, recording the actual part in which they are together, which is what we saw. Then there is changing the outfit, changing the makeup, filming the solo parts. Then the queens also had to actually write their verses. Sorry, I mixed up all of the things together. But basically what I'm trying to say is that probably the first day they wrote the verse, recorded the lyrics, and recorded their solo part. And then the day after is what we saw. All the queens rehearsing, filming together, and then maybe a pause in the afternoon, a little bit of time to the editors for editing the video, if they even finished it, because we don't really know if the queens actually saw themselves in the video on the main stage. Sometimes it happens that they have to pretend to see something, but it's not really there yet. Or maybe they see different things, and then we at home, after editing, we get something else. We don't know. Point is, there is a lot that we don't see, so we have to judge at face value. We see Mistress struggling a little bit, we see Anitra struggling a little bit, but on average, I would say that all of these queens did a pretty good job. I don't like the principle behind the song. I somehow enjoy the beat, but then I think about what it actually represents, and my blood boils, and I'm like, you know what, 10s across the board, it's the last episode, let's move on, let's go on and call it a day. So we are told that Mistress and Anitra are not doing that well, and we are told that Sasha is doing incredibly amazing and Lux is a close second. Fine, it's a long season in which some of the best characters, I think, were eliminated too early. I do not particularly enjoy this top 4 together. I don't think they have a good chemistry. I think that probably I would have liked to see Malaysia in there next to Sasha. It would have felt amazing. Anitra would have been fantastic as a top 4 if she was properly celebrated throughout the whole season instead of being used as a lip sync prop. And then there were a lot of other characters that I would certainly enjoy seeing much more. Irene, Amethyst, Poppy's journey through drag, quitting drag, then redoing drag, and then see what was going to happen in there. There were a lot of people that I would have enjoyed to see a little bit more, and other queens that I would have enjoyed to see a little bit less. But that is a matter of personal taste. At the end of the day, this was work for them, so if it helped them, good for them. If it didn't help them, well, at least they tried. I'm here just to enjoy and give you my opinions. So, at the end of all of this, we go back to the workroom because it's the last day in the workroom, and the queens generally celebrate each other's performances. And then Mistress reminds us that Lucy was in every controversial situation because it's never too late to put in place a little bit more of plausible deniability. So I'm wondering, what is she trying to say between the lines? I don't know. Let me wait for the edit to picking it up so that I can get the correct impression of what's going on. Good Lord. Good Lord. So, moving on to the runway. Everybody looked absolutely fantastic. I have no notes. This is really the best drag runway and they look amazing. That's perfect. For the music video, you know what I think about the song? We're going to skip it all together. And for the whole performance, you know, Sasha won. Period. She is our Madonna. She will always be our Madonna. She is the winner of season 15, and we're all grateful for that. So let's move on. For the critiques is basically 10s across the board, like it usually is for the very last episode in which there is a non-elimination. Do you remember we used to have one for many seasons before we started having the top 5 filmed double eliminate. No, sorry. At some point, we used to have one celebratory episode before the reunion where nobody was going home. Then they changed it and they transformed it into the top 5 with the bottom 2 and both eliminations filmed, and then basically the public decides who stays and goes on to the top 4. So it's nice and refreshing that we don't have that. So basically the critiques are 10s across the boards for everyone. What stuck out to me was of course the hilarious Ross Matthews. Now, thanks to Ferwin for bringing me up to date about what's going on in Roscoe's due to spoilers and other things that hopefully at some point I will talk about. I started to avoid that channel. I started to avoid it, Roscoe's altogether. It's not just a personal statement. It's also a way of, you know, taking care of myself because things have been happening. Nevertheless, thanks for Ferwin for bringing me up to date about what's going on in there, what the queens are actually spilling. So Carlson was not in there because he catched the sniffles as well. So we don't know if it was Mr. Invisible who gave it to him. He's in the other room. He cannot defend himself, so we can talk as much shit as we want. That's amazing. So Carlson had the sniffles. That's why we had to endure the hilarious Ross Matthews, who, during this critiques, said the following, and I quote to Lux, "I love that you sang." And I was like, no shit, Ross, it's a song, they have to sing. Of course she is going to sing. He's not saying, I love that you sang, I don't know, in a certain specific way, or I love the way you vocalize the song, or I love the way you harmonize the song. There's nothing. I love that you sang. This is the basic shit that we have from Ross before he goes home to his dog and his husband. And cashes his check, of course, because that's the always important thing. So, at some point after this, we have to endure the worst exploitative moment in the show, which is the talk to your younger self. I think this is the 8th season that we get this. I get the point of it. I get that Ru needs to be fishing for emotional drama while also trying to appeal to a young audience because they are the best spenders. Nevertheless, it feels like they're like, okay, queens, you know what? Now it's time to cry and appeal to a younger audience and also make Mamaru happy because Mamaru needs tears. That's how she keeps herself young. It's not makeup that you see. It's not special effects. It's not Raven playing its magic. It's tears. That's what makes RuPaul looks amazing. It's drag queen tears. So now you know that. In all of this, of course, Madonna wins because that feels correct. Lux is safe, and Anitra and Mistress will have to lip sync. Now, Of course, Anitra performed Murder on stage, as we got accustomed to. She did it one last time for the pleasure of everybody, but we are told that it's a double save. For some reason. Of course, we all know the reason at this point, and if you don't know yet, well, I'm very disappointed. But it's a double save. So, Anitra stands proud on the main stage next to a corpse, and both Anitra and the corpse are told that they will move to the top 4. Because, you know, we needed to fulfill the 16 episode order, so as an audience we had to be told that it was going to be a top 3, which was a recurring theme at some point. So, at this point the episode ends and we move on to the juicy reunion, aka Mistress deflecting almost every single question. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing that. Not for the fun of shitting on Mistress. We don't have fun, we don't shit on people in here. But if we call this bullshit out, it will act as a deterrent to other people trying to pull this bullshit again. And that's the whole point. I'm all here for encouraging people. I'm all here for seeing growth. I'm all here for accepting your mistakes and move on from them. I don't take any pleasure in shitting on people. But at some point, these kind of things need to be called out. And we're going to call them out. Possibly have some fun with it. And at the end of the day, send everybody on their own way, hoping the best for them. So, let's move on to a couple of comments. I will have a drink, blow my nose, possibly switching off the microphone. And if you want to write a couple of comments and whatever you want to say, I will be reading them. So, just... let's reach for a tissue. Hopefully we are completely free of this next week. One second, sorry. Okay, you see, it's that easy. Just switch off the microphone. And that's how it works. Farrowin, happy to help. Also, according to what Carlson said at Roscoe's, Mr. Invisible would have to be a twink to give him the sniffles. I don't think so. He's like a big bear. Like, he's not just physically big, he's also very tall. So, he is nothing but a twink at all. Unless by twink you mean a hairy bear who looks like a mountain. Fulani, love a Park and Bark lip syncer, but Mistress hasn't shown me any lip sync abilities. Her excuse seemed to be that her dress was heavy. We're going to get to that. We are going to get to that. San, the only difference between me and you is that you had the Rona and I had a bacterial infection. It's always nice to have a little bit of bacterial infection. We want pathogen representation. That's what we fight for in here. Pathogen representation. It's not only about viruses. What's all this talk about viruses? Bacteria exist too. What about protozoas? What about mycelia? We need more representation. That's the right thing to do. House of Down Boots. This whole season opened the door for queens in the next season trying to sabotage each other's storyline. Not if I have a saying on that. Tai, Lucy was very professional in the reunion. I really appreciated that, but we knew that she could go there. I see. You're in great spirit today. I'm enjoying every second of this live stream. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I'm always happy to come back. Believe it or not, as stressful as it might be to come to the last minute, put everything together, and then be like, oh my god, I don't have enough images. Oh, this is not done very well. Oh, my notes are not very well organized. And I stress out for those things because that's just how I work. And then I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? I had the Rona, I take a week off. And then I'm like, yes, but I missed that. So I'm happy to be back. That's what I wanted to say. I'm just happy to be back. So, let's move on to this nice and juicy reunion. So, Robin, Poppy, Selena, Amethyst, Aura, and Jax were basically edited out. Nothing new. I was expecting it. You were expecting it. They were probably expecting it as well. I was surprised by the fact that Irene was given a lot of screen time. I'm happy about it. I think that she is reality TV gold. I think it was a huge loss to cut her out so soon. She could have made the show incredibly interesting. She could have been a fantastic Heather. That's what I think. So I'm happy that, you know, as a first eliminated, she got to shine a little bit longer. It was well deserved, if you ask me, from an entertaining perspective. I'm not going to go into, you know, all of the social media bickering. It gives me a headache. I'm just talking about, you know, the way people appear on camera and how interesting a show they can make, and entertaining. So, of course, I was surprised by the fact that the twins looked very relaxed and comfortable. Apparently, did you remember in the very beginning of the season, I was doing the reviews and saying, well, they are very, very prepared. They know what the deal is. They are a newer generation. They are quicker to adapt. They are very famous on TikTok. They have resources to prepare well for Drag Race. So they have everything. They are merged. They have their characters down. The way they want to be portrayed down. What I got in here instead, since this was filmed not so long ago, is you can already see a difference from before. They are very relaxed, they're doing their things, they know that after all they didn't come off that bad from Drag Race, everybody was nice to them, and they are kind of bridging from what they were doing before to another form of communicating in media. So appearing on the show, appearing on camera, actually give interviews. So it was nice. I was surprised that they were so comfortable, so good for them. Now, it's a reunion, so of course, there is always time to shit on Lucy. So, we start with Ru reminding everybody that this season everyone wanted to be second. Of course, in all of this, there is also a little bit of space for inserting a clip of Lucy complaining that she didn't win, because, you know, even though we're talking second places, we just have to put it there, because why not? I was fearing the worst. Instead, since Madonna is our winner, the editors decided to go the complete opposite way, and that was delightful. So we get a message from Kevin Bacon. Kevin fucking Bacon, as Gothboy UK reminded me on Twitter, he thought that Lucy's performance was too good, so good, that he actually recorded a message in his own house for Lucy. Now, he was probably, you know, paid for that. Maybe he was asked to do it, but he said yes. So apparently her performance, her bottom two performance, was so good that he accepted to send a message. So I was like, yeah, that I completely agree with Gothboy UK. I completely agree with that. I thought she won that challenge. Nevertheless, she received a nice message. Now, the only thing that nobody thought about, but I have been obsessing to, is the fact that Kevin Bacon has a fucking shelf full of VHS tapes. And it's not even commercial tapes. Those are the cassettes that you actually record to. I don't know if you see, there are two cassettes in there with a label saying 120 because it's a 120 minutes VHS tapes. Those are not extinct. Guys, those are not extinct. They still exist. People record things on them and then they put them on the shelf and then they proudly appear on television with the shelf, with the VHSs in the background. That's a great way to celebrate history. I wonder what's on those tapes. Now, when I was actually watching this with Mr. Invisible, he made a comment. I cannot say it on YouTube. I cannot, for the love of me, we would be banned tomorrow, but probably in a couple of hours, probably in 5 minutes. But if you know the filmography of Kevin Bacon, it's a reference to one of his movies. So we are going to keep it at that. It's a nice joke. We had fun. We're going to keep it at that. Back to the reunion. So Mamaru starts talking about the LaLaPaRuZa, and we have a huge segment in which the edit is trying to shit on Malaysia, the rightful Miss Congeniality winner. She's not been announced yet, but she will be. She will be the winner. I can guarantee you that. With a little bit of shitting on Malaysia because, you know, she made peculiar choices during the LaLaPaRuZa. We discussed them when I reviewed that episode. I explained to you, putting into context, things that have been spilled by the queens themselves. We have some more additional information. So instead of shitting on Malaysia, we actually get to see a little bit more of what was really happening behind the scenes. What do I mean by that? Well, Malaysia comes out, she gets asked, why did she choose Marsha and why did she choose Spice? And Malaysia says, and I quote, Mistress put a target on Marsha, Lucy, and Spice and named them the weakest lip syncer. This is a quote. This is not my spin on it. These are her exact words. So imagine this. Imagine this. You are in the workroom, okay? You have been filming every day. You have one day to rest. You don't know if you will have your lunches in time. You don't know if it's worth to sleep tonight or work a little bit more on your dress or write your verses or write your comedy routine, so maybe you don't sleep that well. You are into all of this. You don't know how you will be received. Everything, it's incredibly stressful, and in all of this, you hear a person in the workroom saying, number 1, number 2, and number 3, they are the weakest link. How do you think these people are going to feel? I'm asking you, how do you think these people are going to feel? And what do you think the effect will be on everybody else? How is it going to change the mood? How is it going to interfere with how these people are going to perform, how these people are going to feel, what these people are going to think? This is what we get out of this. Instead of shitting on Malaysia, we get some real tea. And that was the tea. Quote, Mistress put a target on Marsha, Lucy, and Spice and named them the weakest lip syncers. Okay, and that's not all, because then Malaysia continues and she says, Mistress told me that she was gonna pick the song that I wanted. So the queens were given a list of the song for the lip sync LaLaPaRuZa, okay? They have to learn them. They probably learned them the day before. They know which songs are going to come up, and based on the fact that we saw the LaLaPaRuZa last season, they know what the deal is. One will be picked, the other one will choose the song. So in all of this, apart from naming some people the worst lip syncers in front of everyone, she also goes to her and said, no, I'm going to pick that song that you want. I'm going to pick it. So at some point, we have a little bit of questions, don't we? So Mistress gets asked, and partially, of course, deflects. This is going to be the theme for the whole reunion. She says that it was only a mind game. She really wanted another song, so she admits it. I don't know if she didn't warm up to whatever was going on yet, because this is the first and only. She admitted it was a mind game. I didn't really want that song. I was trying to get in your head. For paraphrasing, she admits it. I don't know if they had a pause after this and she, realized that she fucked it up, that she exposed herself, because we will never see that again. From that moment on is deflection, deflection, deflection. Of course, in all of this, there is no mention on naming people weak moments because before they're going to perform. No mention of what kind of effects those comments could have had on their performance, on other people. No mention on all of that. We gloss over it. Just focus on the fact that she admitted she was playing a mind game. And that's it. So, at this point, we move on to the next stage of the LaLaPaRuZa. The fact that Mistress actually won her first lip sync, but she received a little bit of a cold reception after winning, because the queens in the workroom, specifically Lucy and Marsha, they thought that Jax won that lip sync. I thought that Jax won that lip sync. Most of You guys think that Jax won that lip sync. Most of the internet thinks that Jax won that lip sync. So Mistress gets asked, were you pissed, Mistress, that, people were not like congratulating you for winning. They were just shocked. It's Drag Race. You should be prepared to the fact that everything is the contrary of everything. Nevertheless, she received kind of a cold reception. So, Mamaru asks, Mistress, why do you think they received you so, not, the reception was not very warm. And Mistress is like, well, you know what, I knew that the only other performers left were this person and this person and this person, and they were really good, so I was like saving the best for last, because you don't want to, show everything you got the first time around, which makes sense, which makes complete sense. I completely agree with that. However, judging by the episode 14 lip sync, there was not much left. Girl, she did not save that much. So, I call bullshit. Where is the clip of Fifi? Where is the clip of Fifi? I don't have it. I need to find it. We need to play that. I call bullshit. I call bullshit. This is bullshit. Everybody was convinced it was going to be a top 3. You were lip syncing for your life. You were this close to the crown. And she did not deliver. Girl, she did not deliver. I'm telling you, the moment Ru said, for the first time this season, thankfully, it's a double shantay, there were a corpse and a Nitra on stage. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. Now, is this the correct one? I hope so. I hope it's not too loud.
Bullshit. 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 That's bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
That's a joke. Every fucking time. I was being realistic.
Realistic was bullshit. Girl, bullshit. You are a fucking liar.
It was bullshit. Period. Period. We can talk about it on Discord if you have other opinions. No, later. We have the Kiki time later. We talk about it later. Now, other queens are asked about it. And Jax gives the political answer, which I do appreciate. But Selena and Lucy, they're like, no. Jax won that lip sync. I mean, fair and square. Jax won. And then Lucy clarifies that the real problem in the performance was not even the performance itself. And in this, we get another incredible piece of tea. The real problem was that Mistress didn't meet the expectations. What does she mean by that? And I quote Lucy, she was talking a really big game before the LaLaPaRuZa. So basically, if you talk big, you gotta deliver. People create expectations, and then if you don't fulfill them, even if you performed well, of course, people are going to think less of your performance because you raise their expectations so high. But this gives us another incredible piece of information, because not only Mistress put a target on other people in front of everyone, regardless of the impact, and if you want my opinion, fully knowing the impact of her words, not only she played mind games with Malaysia by saying she was going to pick her song, she also talked a big game about her performance in the LaLaPaRuZa. That's strike number 3. That's strike number 3. And for me, once we get directly from the queens, this is not through editing, this is not through impressions, this is not speculations, these are the queens' unedited words. 3 times. And once we have so much proof, I can confidently say that there is a name for this. This is called psychological warfare. During the LaLaPaRuZa, And the most plausible reason that I can give you for it, it's because I think she was incredibly insecure about it. And we've seen her performance in the LaLaPaRuZa. We've seen her performance next to Anitra, which, by the way, Anitra also contained herself and still performed murder. And to me, it brings the whole story full circle. You are not that good of a lip syncer. You felt insecure. You did what you did best. You played psychological warfare. Unfortunately, even though the edit helped you somehow, they're not editing this out. So I'm here to see it. And then I'm here to tell all of you and make you notice of all of these little clues that are left in there. So, of course, you know, things that at some point things come full circle. And I'm very happy that this is happening. So, at this point, you might ask, what does Mistress think about all of this? She deflects. For the second time, she deflects by saying that the girls say that because they are not in the finale. You know, it's not that they're bringing information that the audience didn't know. It's not that they are bringing a point and ask for a reasonable answer to the point that they brought. No, 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 no. Don't get it wrong. It's because they are pissed, because they're not in the finale and they are pissed. Even though that everybody knows, and everybody has been knowing at least for the past half a dozen years, that at the very end of the day, career-wise, nobody gives a shit who wins RuPaul's Drag Race. What really matters is how well you establish the connection with the public, how good of a performer you are, and how much you actually got to show that. We had queens being there 1 episode and then becoming more successful than past winners. They all know this. It's been 15 seasons, guys, at some point. We are not a privileged group. We are not the only one who knows this. Everybody knows it. So it's clearly a deflection. It's because they're pissed that they're not in the top. And I'm like, girl, no. No, you are deflecting because you are left with no other opportunities. You are left with no other chance of trying to avoid taking responsibility for what you did. And you know what? I wouldn't even have a problem with it. I know that being on Drag Race is incredibly stressful. I'm willing to give a pass to almost everything because I do understand that context matters. The place in which you are influences your state of mind, changes the way you behave, makes you effectively almost a different person for who you are. So I'm willing to give a pass to everything if you acknowledge it, if you take responsibility for it. But if you deflect, I'm like, no, girl, that's not how we do things here. Let's be real. From the person who is telling us that she is real, I'm replying, let's be fucking real. This is a deflection. Not the first time, and it's not going to be the last. So at this point, we cut to commercials, and Ru comes back, trying to stir the pot a little bit between Amethyst and Robin, bringing back, you know, they were hooking up storyline, which of course doesn't go anywhere because it didn't go anywhere during the show. And it still doesn't go anywhere during the reunion. So at this point, Ruth's like, what the fuck? What the fuck am I going to do? We need to talk about sex somehow because sex sells. So she asks Aura, which of course was not prompted or scripted. I repeat, it was not prompted or scripted. She asks Aura and she says, well, who did you have a crush on? And she said, Princess Poppy. So for 5 seconds, Princess Poppy is actually in the reunion, which are all glad. That's the 5 seconds. That's it. Then she disappears. And after that, Aura actually makes an announcement because she got engaged. She is going to get married. But unfortunately, we need to cut to commercials and we never see Aura again during the reunion. That's it. I swear, she just announced she's going to get married. We don't get to talk about, who is the lucky guy, where are they going to celebrate, or a little bit of backstory, how did you meet, a tiny bit, nothing. We need to cut to commercials. By the way, if you saw this live, there were commercials every 8 minutes. 8 to 9 minutes. So, we don't get to see any of that. We cut to commercials. Yay! And when we come back, we have some Vegas queens asking questions that were absolutely not scripted by production. So Marsha gets her 5 minutes as well in the reunion, announcing that she's going to deliver. And deliver? Deliver? Is that the word? Make? Create? I don't know. She has a makeup line. It's going to be a series of new delusion lipsticks. Marsha, you look amazing. You delivered an incredible performance. I'm so happy for you, and I like you. So let me shit on you a little bit, because that's what I do to the people I love. You're welcome to do it back. So Sasha gets asked what's her favorite drag queen, and of course, since she's Madonna, she doesn't mention anyone from Drag Race, not even Mamaru. Mamaru was like sitting there with her bottle clenched, and she was like, you better fucking say me, you bitch. I am God. I am the god of drag. I am the god of fracking. I am a multi-millionaire. You better say me. And Madonna is like, you know what? Monica Monroe. I was like, Sasha, that's an amazing answer because it's also a truthful one. But at this point, couldn't you have said Pablo Vittar? I was like, please say Pablo Vittar, please. RuPaul is she's going to get an aneurysm. I can guarantee that. Can you see Mamaru getting an aneurysm while filming the reunion? Oh shit. Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching this reunion. So, Arena gets asked about stirring the pot online. We are going to talk a little bit about that later on. And Lucy says that the edit showed only a specific side of her. Do you see the difference now between Lucy and Mistress? While Mistress deflects and denies, Lucy admits, takes responsibility, and adds context. Do you see how different the two things are? Because Lucy is like, it was not fake, that was me. The problem is, it was only one side of me. You didn't get to see everything else. So I think there is a huge difference between one person deflecting and denying and the other person taking charge and adding more information and context. So you can make your own mind about all of this. I simply present you the facts and you make your own opinion because you already know mine. But you know, I thought this was a nice touch of class from Lucy. Admitting it, taking charge, and say, yes, absolutely. We saw it happen before by very successful queens, especially one very special queen, which I will let you guess. I am not naming her, but she finally won something. Thankfully. Thankfully. And you should know what I mean by that. So, Mistress gets asked by Robin's mom why she shat on Robin's wig, which I thought was gaggy. And Mistress, guess what she does? She deflects by saying, oh, you know what? I was in my chaotic era. Bitch, will you answer one question, take responsibility for one thing? There are 1,000,001 reasons in which you can contextualize them and make everybody understand. We are an open-minded community, at least here on this channel. So, no, she deflects, she jokes. Oh, I was in my chaotic era. She doesn't answer the question. Again. And Aura's mom asks Spice why she said that she should be in the bottom for Snatch Game. To which Spice mumbles. And I thought that was gaggy. So after a nice cut to commercial, do I have another one? Yes, let's change the slide a little bit. The library is open again. We get to see some unaired reads. We get to see some live reads. I loved Salina's read of Mistress. I thought it was incredibly shady. It was one of my favorite, and by this point, I'm clearly biased in which reads I like the most and for which reason. But I thought it was amazing. I liked it. I liked that Sugar broke the fourth wall and told us that somehow Irene was able to get more screen time than Robin. Because Robin was clearly edited out. I thought Poppy was great. And Irene's burn on Salina's fake accent. I don't know if any of you followed this particular topic, because there is a huge rabbit hole behind it. I wonder if I'm giving anyone any ideas about it. Well, we'll see about that. But there is a huge rabbit hole under it. So I appreciate that we had this little nod that, you know, the casual viewer might not have noticed. I saw exactly what she meant. I saw exactly what she meant. And I liked Lucy's read. She told about, she read Mistress on her outfits and on her health. And I liked them. I liked it. I really, really liked it. The only thing that I didn't like was the fact that Mamoru took advantage of all of this for plugging a Drag Race book. Good Lord, for some reason people still read, which is a good thing. If you're going to read, there is so much better than a Drag Race book, which is basically going to be shilling. You are better off watching YouTube videos for free. You don't even have to pay for that. Think about that. Don't buy the book. Don't buy the book. So, we cut to commercials again, and Ru wants to stir the pot a little bit more. She wants to talk about controversial moments, the different gates that we had during the show. We start with Metal Gate, and we go back to our favorite and beloved queen, Malaysia Baby Doll Fox. So she talks about Mistress and Lux trolling her during the Metal Gate. And, you know, she gives a kind of political answer. She says, you know what, they were poking fun. At the end of the day, they were poking fun, and I didn't really get it. It brought me to another mental space, so that's how I reacted. I do agree with it. I think that, you know, bullying and trolling are not words to just being thrown around. When I reviewed that episode, I gave a specific opinion. And I believe that was not bullying, that was being fun, being a little bit shady, and I still stand by that opinion, regardless of what happened around Lucy. These are two different things for me. So, because also Mistress and Malaysia know each other, so Malaysia knows at least that Mistress is kind of that kind of person. She likes to throw shade a little bit. She likes to, you know, poke a little bit of fun. The point for me is the moment you see the other person in distress, that's your signal to stop. So this thing did not just happen in the moment. This is something that it's not really highlighted, neither in the show or the reunion. It went until Untucked. That's at minimum the day after, the evening of the day after, minimum. Maximum, it was 2 days after, and still Malaysia was pissed. If you don't understand that you did something wrong when somebody's still upset after 30 hours, 24, however it is, well, then either you're not there for some reason or you don't want to be there. So, but Mistress tells us that she didn't get that Malaysia took it seriously, which I think it's a half truth at this point. I do believe that in the moment she didn't get it, I would have probably not get it, but the moment you see that somebody's still upset about it the day after, maybe it's time that you sit down and say, oh, wait, I meant it like this, I'm sorry. You know, it takes nothing to apologize. That's what I always say. We have a little bit of a baby bump gate, which goes absolutely nowhere, and then we get to the Rusical. So, Mistress gets asked why she interjected the discussion for the leading role. You remember that Lucy and Lux were kind of bickering for the role, if we want to call it bickering, because at some point I saw Lucy wanting a role and somebody else pretending to want the same role for the sake of shits and giggles. But that's my personal opinion. It's not a matter of fact. The matter of fact is a different one. That during this reunion, Lucy comes in and says, "Why, Mistress? Why did you interject this conversation? What was the point?" And of course, Mistress deflects. Mistress deflects by saying that, the girls were just bickering, it wasn't going anywhere, so I interjected. And then the implied message is that she interjected in order to make the whole thing go somewhere. Problem is that Lucy responds, and Lucy's response is not edited out of the reunion. We actually get to see her. Lucy responds, "You interjecting didn't help. It actually made things worse. So what about that?" To which, of course, Mistress deflects once more, because, it's only the 4th or 5th time at this point, but she deflects again. So RuPaul asks, because Mamoru is there, she's like, "You're going to give me fucking drama one way or the other. This is my show, and you are going to give me what I want." So Mamoru asks Mistress, "Why did you think Lucy was fake?" You see, she jumps to another topic, but but the purpose is still the same. And of course, Mistress deflects again, because are we surprised? Are we really surprised at this point? Because I am not. I was like, deflect. She's going to deflect again. So Mamoru, since she's still hungry for drama and tears, goes back to Lux, and she says, "Well, Lux, why did you give up the role?" And this is an interesting thing, and I quote, because Lux responds, "People tried to twist it to me, like trying to twist it like sort of mind games," end quotes. I feel like I need to repeat myself. So RuPaul asks, "Lux, why did you give up the main role?" Lux, quote, "People tried to twist it to me, like trying to twist it like sort of mind games." I'm like, what does this even fucking mean? What does it mean? What do you mean by that? This makes no sense. I get it. Maybe the question caught you by surprise and you didn't know what to answer. Maybe you were not expecting it, and you had to think on your feet, and you kind of got confused, and you said whatever you say. People tried to twist it to me. Which people? We don't know. Which kind of mind games? We don't know. What is the context? We don't know. So let me tell you how this looks to me. It looks to me like for some reason Lux tried to put the word mind games and hint at manipulation without answering the question. It was like, oh, I need to mention this in a way that people will get to think whatever they want to believe when I say it. So I need to use the word mind games. I need to use it. The question was, why did you give up the role? So I'm really puzzled. I'm like, what was the reason? Lux, what was the reason? I will let you guess about all of this. But then, she ends up by saying, well, I gave up the role because Lucy was upset. So it was an act of generosity. Then what was the mind games? What was I really have the feeling that she was like, oh my god, mambo, I need to put the word mind games in there. I need to. This is our backstory. This is our plausible deniability. This is the plan. I need to put the word in there, even though it means it has no connection to anything. It has no connection to anything. If anything, all of the clues left by all of the queens point to the exact opposite. that this person next to Mistress played a little bit too many mind games to the point of being noticed and to the point of making it noticeable. But then, you know, she wraps it up. She said, no, I wanted Lucy to feel good. She was upset. I gave her the role. And that's it. Then we move on to Wiggate, which was boring. So the show cuts to commercial. And when we come back, we have a little bit of review of Unseen Looks. We have a little moment of toot or boot. There is nothing really interesting for me in here, apart from Irene tooting Aura's outfit and then booting the acting. That was amazing. We had a ton of fun watching that. My partner was like, no, Aura, don't do that. And then Salina wins the Golden Boot, presented by Maddie Morphosis, which was refreshing. I like Maddie. I wish a good half of all the straight people out there would be a hinge closer to the way Maddie is. She's just such a delight. From my point of view, she's very, very welcome in our community, and I encourage more to try. So after we cut again to commercials, Ru is trying to stir the pot once more, because that's what RuPaul does. That's her character. That's Mamaru. So she wants to go back to the moment when she asked who should go home. So we are forced to go through the whole Lux fiasco again, the whole 5-minute thing in which she mentions everybody and gives compliments to everybody, and something really, really interesting happens in here. 2 things, actually. Let's see if you can get an idea already. So RuPaul asks Lux, why were you compelled? Compelled. She used the word compelled. That's called, I think in legalese, it's called a leading question, because Mamaru might be old, but she's not fucking stupid. You can have all the opinions that you want about Mamaru, but she is still smart. She is still a very, very smart person. So she's like, why were you compelled to name everyone? And of course, Lux, since she might be young, she might be talented, at least at runways and dresses and fashion. She is caught by surprise again. So she does what Mistress does best. She deflects. And she's like, and I quote, I really don't know. In my head, I wanted to give like a rhyme and a reason to it. So, translation. I'm going to give you the answer because if I just said Lucy, not the translation, sorry. Here again, I am confusing my notes. I'm going to give you the answer to the actual question. To me, the problem is that if Lux said just Lucy's name, then the burden of pointing out to Lucy would have come on Lux herself. She's the one who said, well, you know what? Lucy should go home. But by announcing everyone's talent and then Lucy's downfall, then the blame is shifted from Lux to the comparison itself. It's not that Lux wants to send Lucy home, it's that everybody else is better than Lucy. So this is a very sophisticated form of blame shifting. And considering how Lux was caught by surprise by many questions, I will not believe that this was not premeditated, because this is a very sophisticated form of manipulation. Blame shifting, it's not easy to do, it's even more difficult to notice, and it's even more difficult to deconstruct. But that's the exact meaning of that. That's the meaning of that gesture. So I don't believe that such thing could have come from Lux. I don't think it's probable. It could be. It definitely did not come in the moment. I will not buy that. I'm sorry, I will not buy that. I call Bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
That's
Bullshit.
a joke. Every fucking time. I was being realistic.
Realistic was bullshit. Girl, bullshit. You are a fucking liar.
So, Mamaru then goes to Lucy, and she says, how did you feel about Lux choosing you? And first of all, she doesn't buy that Lux did it in the moment, and I agree with that. And she says that it seemed very premeditated. I completely agree with that. I thought the same. There was too much going on, and it was at such a level of refinement that I will not believe for a second that it came out in the moment. So, Lucy's problem is that she thought it was gratuitous because she punched a little bit too hard. It's not just that she said, you are generic. It's that she said she's generic, comparing her to each and every one down the line. In all of this, we have a shot of Malaysia Baby Doll Fox nodding to all of this. My God, she was nodding. She is my hero. Malaysia is my hero. She is my lost top candidate for this season. To me, she was in the top, period. She nods in all of this. I don't know if she really nodded. I don't know if it was edited. Unfortunately, we don't have a wide shot, but we see her nodding. And I thought, at least from an editing perspective, that was gagging. So, Lucy continues, quote, she said, you seem to take joy in doing that. Oh my God, I was like, yes, yes. Lucy learned to let loose. She really learned that. And then she continues that it took nerve to say everything she does was well done. Well, sorry. And then she says to Lux that it took nerve to say that everything that she does was already done before, while reusing a wig worn by a puppet in Mistress's Runway. That's what Lucy said. She completely lets loose, and we appreciate that. So Lux gets asked about this. She denies ever saying the words, everything you do was done before. Conveniently, we get no footage confirming Lucy's side. But then Lux turtles by saying that it was not her intention to hurt her, and we have to take her word for it. And since we like to think the best of people until we are proven the contrary, I would say, yeah, sometimes you do things and you do not realize the real effect on other people. Giving the benefit of the doubt. We are classy people. So, at some point we go to Salina versus Lucy. Lucy justifies herself by not deflecting, by not denying, and by not shifting responsibilities. She says, I said that, I'm sorry I did it. Problem is that I didn't know how we were going to do the whole thing. I was the first to be asked. I didn't know if we were doing, okay, let's get the best competitor out, let's get the worst competitor out, let's get the queen in the overall competition who did the worst, let's go by critique. She just didn't know, so she stuck to the performance. And she was like, you know what, during the season, you have been deemed by the judges the worst performer, and that's why I said it. Which, I mean, it still might feel like shit, but at least it's very honest. Now, Lucy continues by saying that if she had to judge based on the current challenge, then she would have said Lux, because in her eyes, she was the one who struggled during the Rusical. Lux denies, of course, by saying that Lucy and Mistress were actually struggling as well. Sorry, she doesn't deny. She tries to blame shift again. She said, I was not the only one. Also, you and Mistress were struggling as well. And she conveniently leaves out a piece of crucial information. Because Lucy and Mistress struggled in rehearsal, but Lux doesn't say it. She leaves it out in the air. And if we didn't get, if Lucy was not giving an opportunity to actually clarify what she is referring to, we would have never known. We would have never known. But thankfully, the editors, which of course know that Sasha is going to win this season, they let us see it. So the camera shifts to Lucy, and she clarifies by saying, I am talking about the actual challenge. I'm not talking about rehearsing. I'm talking about the actual filming of the challenge. And I do agree with that, because rehearsal is fucking rehearsal. You are supposed to fuck it up. You are supposed to learn. Nobody learns on the spot unless you are a professional, unless you are specially gifted. All of the normal people rehearse because they need to learn. So it's okay to fuck it up in rehearsal, then I judge your final delivery. But we do not get this from Lux. We had to be graced by the editors for letting Lucy actually give the context for all of this. I think all of this is incredibly gaggy. I'm living. I am living. So, after cutting through commercial one last time, Mamaru asks the queens if they want to stir the pot a little bit by saying, well, anyone has something that they want to take off their chest. So we have the gaggiest moment of the whole reunion, because Irene takes the spot and she is like, I had filler. I own the fact that I had filler. I was very open, and I am very open about the fact that I had fillers, as I was during filming for the show. So, why the hell, and this is what she's asking, when she got home after filming, remember she went home, why the hell, when Mistress got home after filming, she called Irene and told her that Lucy said that Irene doesn't look like she had fillers. In fact, her face is sagging. Why? What was the point of it? Because, Irene is not your average queen. I don't want to compare it to Candy Muse, because they're clearly two different queens. They have two different styles. They are not just physically different or have a different race. They are really two distinct personalities. One of the things that they have in common is that they are basically social media loaded guns. If they have a problem, they will go after you. They don't give a shit. They will call you out and they will post everything publicly. So what do you think the effect would have been if the moment Mistress goes home, she picks up the phone and say, listen, this person said these shitty things about you? What do you think Irene is going to do? Thankfully, she looks for receipts instead of exploding online. So she confronted Lucy, and Lucy denied. So at this point, she asks Mistress, did you make that up? Or did she really said that? Mistress says she didn't make up anything. Then Irene asks to Lucy. Then Irene asks, well, then Lucy really said that. And Lucy reiterates that she absolutely never said anything like that. So at this point, Mistress now deflects, again, surprise, surprise, by saying that she doesn't remember the conversation. To whom Irene replies that she remembers it vividly. And because of that, she didn't talk to Mistress for 3 months. Mistress deflects again by saying that she's a lot of things, but not a liar. Lucy replies that she would never say anything like that. Mistress replies that she doesn't know what she really told Irene. She doesn't know. Can you imagine that? I mean, think about that. Think about that. She said she talked to her on the phone. She's been accused of basically gaslighting somebody else in order to create a social media fight to a person that we clearly seen was gaslighted by her during filming for the show. But somehow she cannot recall what was said on the phone. She doesn't know. She doesn't know. She says, and I quote, "I don't know what I really told Irene. I don't know what's true." End the quotes. So I'm asking you, if this was happening to you, what would you answer? What would you answer? Because if you really did it, there is no covering it up. And if you didn't, then you want to defend yourself. How do you defend yourself? Well, you provide context. You add more information. You're trying to find out an explanation. If I was accused of something like that, I would be like, oh, wait a moment. When did I say that? Because we had this talk during, I don't know, night. I was having dinner and I thought about calling you, and we talked a little bit about this and a little bit about that, and then I told you this, and then you said goodbye, and then we saw. So, you know, you are accusing me of relating to you that somebody else shat on you. When in this call do you think that I said? I would enumerate a series of things. I would put more information. I would try to find out and demonstrate the fact that I'm in fact innocent. But Mistress doesn't do anything like this. She says she doesn't remember, which reminds, do you remember those congressional hearings? There was one with the guy from Facebook. It was very famous. I don't even recall his name, good Lord. He was at a congressional hearing. I thought it was about privacy on Facebook. And he was like, I don't recall. I don't have a recollection. Can you imagine? At this point, I was expecting Mistress by saying, I don't have a recollection about that. I don't have a fucking recollection. So, in all of this, she doesn't remember, she doesn't know what's true, and then a final deflection, her last one, hopefully, by attacking Irene, saying, well, you know what, if you only had a day on Drag Race, you hold on to what you have. So she basically accused Irene to make shit up to stay relevant, which is incredibly toxic, considering that she's basically trying at this point to gaslight the audience. I mean, there are people who can be incredibly shady on social media and make the worst shit up in order to stay relevant. We saw it happen again. It's a real thing. Okay, it's a real thing. It happened. We have fake drama. We have people lying. We have people attacking other people with a tiny stretch of proof that really proves nothing. We see all of this bullshit. Being relevant means money. So, of course, there is a huge thing going on with it. And we know that also Irene actually, has been very active on social media even before Drag Race. So, like Candy Muse, it was no surprise that Irene could have been messy on social media. So, I'm like, why are you trying to convince everyone that she's making shit up so that she could be relevant because she stayed only one episode? Why are you not giving me no context, no reason, no explanation, not even trying to make a conjecture to make sense of what happened and why? Mistress is just there denying and deflecting. So, you make your own mind about that. I said everything that I wanted to say about this. Alyssa's Backrolls, Mark Zuckerberg. Yes. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I think there are supercuts on YouTube. You can check that. So, before the reunion actually ends, RuPaul asks about social media reception, and Mistress goes into a long talk about people attacking, especially her and Lux, because people are racist and people are fat phobic. And I think this is this situation is a crock of shit, because it is true that based on race and based on physical shape, people might get it harder than other people who might better embrace the current model of what is supposed to look nice and desirable, both as a form of your body and the race you come from. This is absolutely a real thing. People double down on other people based on their race, based on their physical shape. But this is not really the case. This is, again, another deflection. Another form of plausible deniability put forth as deflection. We've seen these two people gaslighting the cast and specifically one person. We had multiple proof of that. We have seen the queens discussing it by their own words. We've seen that did it on the race. We saw it in the reunion. We saw it outside. I'm always on for giving everyone and everything the benefit of the doubt, but there comes a point in which there is so much shit that the picture that emerges is a completely different one. So I think it's incredibly disrespectful to shield any criticism by saying it's because I am fat and people are racist and people are fat phobic. It's like saying, well, people have a problem with RuPaul fracking because she is black. Personally, I don't give a shit about your skin color. I don't give a shit about the shape of your body. If anything, I have a positive bias for bigger people. But the point here is that people don't like what you did. People don't like what Lux and Mistress did, period. And the way they basically denied and took no responsibility for it. Now, I do understand that there are stupid people around who are going to be incredibly nasty and contacting these two queens and being nasty to them. I don't think there's any point to do that. But hiding behind racial issues and body shapes issues, I don't think it's the right way to do at this. But at this point, I think this is desperation. I mean, look at it. It's really desperation. She's being called out. She's unable to give reasoning. Other people are providing more information. They are providing context, and it's a constant denial, deflection. So she is basically arrived. She has nowhere else to go. She's basically cornered. So, of course, she goes through the racism and fat phobia around there. So I wonder if she would ever call me fat phobic, because that would be incredibly gaggy. That would be incredibly gaggy. So, in all of this, we end up on a high note because Mamaru tells Anitra that walking the duck is gonna make her a multi-millionaire. And if Mamaru says that, believe me, it's going to happen. And I'm so happy for Anitra. She is such a success story in this season. That's amazing. I'm really looking forward to see Madonna and Anitra lip sync for their lives. Lip sync for the crown during the reunion. I will be very happy to see Anitra again in All Stars, possibly All Stars 9 at this point. And I'm really, really happy for Sasha for being a representative of this franchise that we are also attached to. So, to close all of this, and then we go to your comments and we go to our Kiki time and we can discuss in more details everything that you want to discuss about. A final thought about Mistress and Lux. I think that at the end of the day, those two people played the game a little bit too hard and kind of put down other people in order to elevate themselves. So what I wish is that they would kindly learn from their mistakes, become better people and better performers, because at the very end of the day, I am a single person, but I have also conflicting opinions. It's also an healthy thing to have different points of view inside your own mind. So of course there is a part of my brain that it's like screaming, go fuck yourselves. You don't gaslight people. You put them in a terrible state of mind. But of course, there is also another part that it's there to remind me that context matters. And the context of Drag Race is stressful and kind of grinding on you and driving people to places that otherwise they would never go. What I am surprised is that even though the stress of Drag Race has been lifted because the reunion happened actually once the queens got back home, so you are cut out from that environment, and you have a chance to actually take responsibility and take accountability, but they decided not to. So at the end of the day, what I do think is that I am very disappointed by those two people, and I hope for them that they will learn from their mistakes, and I will certainly be willing to welcome both of them and celebrate their future achievements. Nevertheless, the stunts that they pulled does not have to happen again. So I am happy that I called it out. I have no regrets about all of the things that I said. I said what I said. I hope for the best for them, but I'm not buying any of this bullshit. So I hope that they will be an example that this sort of war of the poor among Drag Race contestants should not be allowed to happen. You are pretending that you are a community, a united community, that you make a full front together, and then in the end you stab each and everyone in the back only for your 5 minutes of fame. I do understand that millions are on the line, but at some point we are still people. So we are in a day and age in which uplifting people gets celebrated. We don't need that shit anymore. And I hope we don't see that shit anymore. And I hope that that will not be the definition of old school. And with that said, before you go to your comment, whatever. Before we go to the comments and before we go back together for our Kiki time, let's take a 5 minutes pause. Let's shake it up, go smoke a cigarette, have a drink, go to the toilet, or blow your nose, or measure your temperature, because these days you never really know. I will see you back in 5 minutes, and don't tune out.
You don't need to be chill. I don't ever play it cool. You don't need the right skills. Don't need the right tools. You just need the guts to seize it. To seize it in the middle. You don't exactly know it, but you know it needs a little breaking up. Shake it up. Shake it up. When things start to settle down. Shake it up. Like it's a snow globe town. The city's like a bottle of sparkling wine. Or a balloon open, let's take some time. Shake it up. Shake it up. These are cynical times. We had to endure so many clinical lines, so little actual cures. When getting money's our religion and love is a need, we sit and watch while our country bleeds. I'm gonna stop
And we are back. I hope you had a nice juicy cigarette. I know I had, because the best cure for the Rona is smoking a cigarette. I'm joking, clearly. Let's go to the comments. Damien, it's just another episode of the Mistress show. It was, and it was not a good look. Julie, hi Top, hope you're feeling much better. I am actually still a little bit of sniffles, but I'm good. Thank you. Mrs. G, Lux and Mistress were both mean this season. I don't think race and body type was the main reason that they were getting hate. Now, you see, I think that there is nothing wrong with commenting on a public show which is on television. We can comment, we can talk about it, we can discuss, but still there is a huge difference between having a space to discuss this issue and maybe learn something about it, and go directly to these people and give them your peace of mind. We just don't do that. Of course, if you want to do it, there is not a law prohibiting from doing it. I think that considering the times in which you are and considering the history of the show, it would be in very good taste not to do it. Also because, remember, it's always an edited show, so we can speculate, we can talk, we can give our opinions, but if you gotta say something about somebody and do it directly to their face, at least use situations in which they had full control of the way in which they appeared and of the things that they said. So what I always said for years at this point, if they make a mock of themselves on social media and you feel the need to reply, you can do it. Be nice, be classy, because at the end of the day, the things that you say tell more about you than the person you're telling them to. Alatai, Sasha and Anitra were such a class act in the reunion. I agree. I completely agree. I wished I would have seen a little bit more of some of the queens, because Jax was very, very professional. We didn't see much of that, but I like Jax. Fulani, I have to agree. This is not the first time I've not championed the African American and plus size queens This is the first time that I've not championed the African American and plus size queen in the finale. Yeah, again, it's not really about race or size for me. It's about talent, it's about personality. I do understand that there is a political side to what appears on television, and I do appreciate that there is representation. With that said, there is way of doing it. And sometimes when you just have to do things regardless of the people and their behavior, you can run into, uncomfortable situations like we are right now. Alec, imagine whining about aggressive black women stereotype while reinforcing that stereotype. Passive aggressive, I would say, in this point. But yes, aggressive nonetheless. That I felt too. That came off as well. I mean, a lot of people think that being passive aggressive is a nice way to be aggressive without while having plausible deniability for being aggressive, but I think that anyone with a decent life experience, let's say, I don't know, over 25 years old, maybe over 30, can clearly see passive aggressiveness. And to me personally, it hurts me more than real aggression. At least real aggression, it's out in the sun. Passive aggressiveness always comes with plausible deniability, and that really rubs me the wrong way. And Alec continues, somehow other POC queens didn't have the same experience with the fandom, and I wonder why. Excellent point. I do agree. Alyssa's back rolls. We have a couple of users with amazing nicknames. Alyssa's back rolls and House of Down boots. Says, you should get a new pack if your cigarettes are juicy. It's the last one, then I'm going to try to quit again. Nightmare, welcome back. The way I saw it, Mistress and Lux were betrayed by the edit. Absolutely. All season long, they were always on the right side of the story until the last few chapters, where production showed us their mistakes. Yes, absolutely. That was not just a winning lap for Sasha, it was also a way for the show of showing actual good faith, and I didn't miss that. I did not miss that. By the way, I forgot to add, where are you? There we go. I need to restore moderating rights for this channel. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Tai, I wouldn't mind a double crowning between Anitra and Sasha, to be honest. Me neither. But I think that considering the political climate in the US right now, and considering the fact that it would be a great addition to see Anitra back for All Stars, so it's also good for the show, I don't think she will win. If she would, it would be very deserved, but I don't think she will win. We will just see her back on All Stars, and Sasha will get this moment for herself and for representing all of the trans people right now in the US who are going to have a difficult time considering the political climate. Nightmare, thanks for the welcome. Always great to be around. Always great to have you all here. Not just you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Otherwise, it feels I'm already talking alone into a room. At least I have people on the other side of the screen to talk to. Faye, double crowning is only going to happen again when there is a very clear marketing and TV reason to do it. Yes, or when they really fucked up the top 4. Like, if Anitra was not going to be All Stars Gold, I would have agreed. We could have had a double crowning. Absolutely. But then again, if Anitra is able to grow her fan base even more and to make it big after this season, she's going to be an incredible asset coming into All Stars. And of course the show is banking on that, because that's the smart thing to do. At the end of the day, they are a corporation, they need to make business. The way to make business is to make money. Orchidude, do you think Amethyst knows that she is a type of quartz? I don't think she does. I don't think she does. We have to show her our appreciation. She will always be my favorite type of quartz.
Wow, amethyst is a type of quartz. For that, you can touch my boobies.
Yes. And for that, you can touch all of my boobies. All 2 of them. Franny, speaking of All Stars, who do you think would be the top 3 queens from this season that will be on All Stars? I think we will get Lux if we need any filler queen, because usually the young and talented are used in All Stars if they don't win as filler. Unless she waits 3 or 4 years and shows some very good growth, like it's happening to Gigi Good, for example, which was the young and talented from season 12. In that case, they can be a front runner, a real contender for All Stars. Mistress will be there for the drama. Of course, she will take any chance she gets. Possibly, if people are ending up calling out all of the bullshit that she served recently, especially in this reunion, she could be set up for a nice redemption line, which people always dig up for All Stars. And Anitra, of course, she's All Stars Gold. So I think all 3 could be very well placed in an All Star season. If I have to give you the best possible order, I would say Anitra first, then Mistress, and then Lux, split. At best, maybe Anitra and Mistress together, and then Lux a couple of years later. This is what I think. Just 2. Alisa says just 2. Then I would say Anitra and Mistress. Anitra and Mistress have the best TV potential out of the 3 of them. I would definitely choose them from a producing point of view, and also from a kind of personal point of view. I think I would, out of the 3, I would enjoy them the most. Sugar and Spice too. Yeah, but the question was about the top 4. she was basically asking me to shit on, on one of the non-winners a little bit. But I have been political. I have been political. Fulani, what about Versus the World? Oh God. The first season of Versus the World was a shit show. The second season I didn't watch because the resident queen of Puerto Vallarta was in there, and considering all of the context, I was boycotting the season, so I didn't watch it, and I don't want to watch it. I don't care about watching it. I know about the final 3, and that's it. Versus the World for me is a franchise that's basically become dead on arrival. So it's basically wishing the worst for those queens. If they are smart, they don't go into a Versus the World season. They are queens from the main US franchise. They are always eligible for a call on All Stars, and considering they are all under the new contracts, they are way more likely to be called. So if I were them, I would not take the call for a Versus the World, unless it happens in Thailand. If it happens in Thailand, by all means go. Absolutely. Jacob, I feel like Robin Fierce was an alternate timeline Jada Essence All if she had been Candy Hode. That was my first impression as well. When I first saw Robin, I was like, well, there's something about Robin. She reminds me so much of Jada. The way she is posed, the way she is classy, the way she doesn't say too much, the way she is naturally nice and pleasurable. I had the same impression. The fact that Robin was edited out of this season was a huge loss. There is an alternate timeline out there where she reaches at least the top 6, and it's a joy to watch. Next to Malaysia and Amethyst. So, at least in my head, this is the image that lives rent-free in my head. Faye Versus the World is for the US queens who were already on All Stars. For me, the US queens are set on the Versus the World kind of as a filler at this point. I don't think it's a good choice career-wise, personally. That's just my personal opinion. Nightmare. As long as Lucy does not return anytime soon, she surely would get janned. I do agree on that. If I were Lucy, I would not come back. At all. Do the most of what you have right now. Try to do it Nina West style, but just more refined, because you know my thoughts about Nina. But yeah, I wouldn't come back either. Many queens think that just because you get the call, that's an opportunity, but girl is more a gamble than an opportunity. It can pay off big time. It can also, put the final stone on your grave. Faye, I follow Robin on TikTok and YouTube, and she truly is very likable. Yeah, I had the same impression. She just looks, so classy. She's really classy. And in the reunion, there was this moment where we got to see that she worked at Best Buy in drag. I was like, yes, you have to make the best with whatever you have. So if you don't have time to make your makeup and, props to the owners who didn't give a shit about it, just go to your day job in drag. Why not? Fulani, actually, Robin's elegance and professionalism reminded me of Sahara Davenport. Bless her heart. Bless her heart, Sahara. She had her shady moments. Do you remember? There was a scene in Untucked in which everybody, I don't know if they were shitting on Tatiana. I don't know what it was, but I was having my life. I was living my life. Yeah, Sahara. It's one of the queens that we lost along the way. Tai-Tai, Scarlet Envy or Geometric come back for Versus the World? You better watch it. I will. I will. I promise you, I will. Yes, Jacob. Yes. Thanks for the reminder. Which is not a problem. I mean, you are free to live your private life however you see fit. That's your thing and your thing only. No, and you should not be judged for that. My problem was taking advantage of an audience, which is a huge power impairment. You don't do that. You don't do that. Especially if you are marketing yourself as a Disney princess, considering, the kind of narratives that get pushed around. It's not a good look. Sometimes it's not bad to take a step back and say, you know what, if we want to push this particular issue, maybe it would be better if we have another representative to do that. I know that it might sound unfair, but appearances do matter, especially if people build convincing I don't want to say why do I have only the word storyline in my head? Convincing narratives based on that. San, I'm back. I'm doing homework that is due tonight. Graduating in a couple of weeks is really getting me. San, why are you here? Why are you here, San? Go study. Couple weeks, good lord. Tells you the guy who was partying hard and wrote his final thesis in a week. No, I did not really wrote it in a week, but you know when you have a lot of things together and then they have to be finally put all together and give it the final polish and read proof, and that was my last week before graduating. This is in my bachelor degree. I was more professional for my master. Tai, do you think that we're going to see any girl from season 7? It seems impossible. To me, season 7 is like the forgotten season. Like, apart from Katya, Trixie, and Ginger, that was basically it. Kennedy was robbed for some reason. We should hire Mistress at this point to give us the real reason why Kennedy didn't win All-Stars. But apart from that, I don't want to be too controversial. We will never get Pearl. We will never get Max. And we will absolutely never get Candy Ho. Who the fuck is Candy Ho, you ask? Well, that's why you're asking in the first place. So no, I don't think so. Son, I can multitask. I am watching this on my phone while working on my computer. Good for you. I can do only one thing at a time. I'm very good when I do that one thing, but it's only one. Vortertia? I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. I would live for Kennedy on Versus the World season, if she still has the stamina for it, because I think Kennedy is really fed up with the show. The stunt that they pulled on All Stars was really, really a letdown, I think. Nightmare, I think one of the things is being open and accepting towards the new generations and show them diversity. However, it's really questionable, the whole marketing around Drag Race heading toward minors. Then again, I don't think it's really a political thing, if you ask me. It's not like they are next to the battles of those queens who do story time with drag queens, for example, and they're finding it difficult to do this thing. I think it's a commercial thing. It's just that kids are the best spenders. Period. I mean, the Disney Corporation got it right. When kids want something, it breaks your heart to see them having to deal with you saying no. Even if, how kids are. They see something and they want it. I want this and I want that and this is mine and this is mine now, bitch. So, in a way, yeah, the parents of kids are the best spenders, because that's the reality. Everybody wants the best for their kids, and if they want to buy a t-shirt from a queen because they want to support them and they like them, and a parent will be just like, yeah, of course, it's a t-shirt. you know, kids really are. Kids and young teenagers are the best spenders. They are the best to market to. Everybody knows this. And it's the same in every single field. It's not about just selling things. It's also about watching things or shilling for advertisement. They are, you know, in an age in which they're still forming. So being bombarded by advertisement gives advertisers a chance to have these people interject all of these concepts, you know, and then when they go to the grocery stores and they're like, okay, drinks, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, you know, and that's just it. They don't even know what a fruit juice is at some point. They're like, yeah, fruit juice? Oh, you mean Capri Sun? That's how kids are. And then subconsciously, they remain like that throughout the whole life. I mean, I see it with myself. Sometimes I go to the grocery store for the stupidest thing. I'm like, okay, I need to buy more detergent for the washing machine. And without even thinking, I go to a very specific brand made by Henkel, which, you know, I'm not going to tell you the original name, but that's the company that does it. I'm like, why the fuck? Without even thinking, I grabbed that fucking thing. It's because of all that advertisement throughout an entire lifetime. Then I'm like, why don't I buy the cheaper brand? And I'm like, well, because it's not that good. How do you know? Did you even try it? No. Can you find out by reading the label? No, because they are not compelled by law to write you the exact ingredients or the amount, so you don't actually know what cleans better or why. I'm making an extreme example in here. It's also 1 a.m, so you're kind of used to see me going on a tangent about all of these things. But at the end of the day, what I want to say is that the younger your viewers, the better your income. Period. Period. It has nothing to do with political things. It's just a natural evolution of Drag Race. And from a social point of view, maybe it's even better. So if we have these kids being like, it's okay, it's normal to be gay or being trans. It's just that some people are gay, some people are trans, some people are straight. Who the fuck cares? You know, so if we are growing this generation, then I'm all on board for it. Even though I know that deep down, the main motivation is money. Tai, did you watch the first episode of España? I wanted to watch it. I swear I wanted to watch it and then I forgot it. My partner was on TikTok and he saw this show called, it's an animated show. It's called The Prince, where they shit on the royal British family. And we watched that instead. It's like, if I'm hooked on something, then I will watch it. But when I have to watch something and be like, yes, they tell me it's really good, but the first impression, it's not good. Language barrier, too much. God knows it took me 5 years to watch Thailand. And then I watched it and I was like, oh my God, it was great. You all have to watch it. And everybody else is like, yeah, but the language barrier. I'm like, yes, sure, I should be the last one to speak about it. But we're going to watch it this week. I'm going to tell you next week, since we're still going to have an episode next week. And then after that, if All Stars begins, we will do that again. We will do the live streams again. But if it doesn't, then I will start making videos again for the channel. Which I think at this point it's important. I haven't released videos in a while. Nightmare, pretty cold, but pretty real. Yeah, that's, I mean, at the end of the day, we are a small community. Let's not bullshit each other. Let's speak for what we mean. And then if somebody wants to misunderstand, they are free to think whatever they want. Fulani, we kept telling you to watch Thailand. I know. I know. The Thailand thing started, believe it or not, on Reddit before I was even banned for talking too much about the edit. Before I even started the job. So even the you know, acquaintances that I had on Reddit kept telling me, you have to watch Thailand. It's amazing. So yeah. And I still haven't watched season 2 yet. I still haven't watched season 2. We watched episode 1, then finished halfway. Thought that the subtitles were not really good, and then we didn't continue watching. I know. Let's change the slide. Do we have Paramount? Oh, there we go. Paramount. Where's my logo? This one? VHS tapes? Don't ask what's on them. There we go. Not sponsored by Paramount. That's us. Can I? Oh, yeah. There it is. There it is. Yes. There we go. Not sponsored by Paramount. Good lord. Nightmare, when you were blaming it on the edit before the song was a thing. Oh, it's years at this point. It's years. Oh my god. My god, I wanted to make a celebratory video. At this point, I'm forced to choose between one or the actual video on the Mistress bullshit. I think I'm going to give precedence to the Mistress bullshit. I think it's more important. Yeah, we should do a celebration. It's been 3 years. 3 years. 2 weeks ago, the Chop had his birthday. 3rd birthday. My god. It feels like it was 20 years ago. Yeah, it's a lot of fucking time. You know what? I was thinking, since now the Chop is on a different channel, it would be nice to have some snippets, like supercuts, of the live stream. Not entire episodes as I used to do, because that's too time consuming. But like supercuts, you know? 4 or 5 minutes videos and just put it there for people who don't have a time for a whole live stream. So, I don't know, maybe I will start doing that. Why not? Could be good. Time flies when you're overworking. I mean, having fun. No, thank God I don't do that anymore. Thank God I don't do that anymore. I mean, you still feel the effect. Like, the views go down inevitably because you don't have videos which are clearly more successful. The general quality of the show went down, and by quality I mean that there is not as much information as I used to have time to collect. That is for sure. But at the end of the day, I cannot burn out. I mean, I tried and gave it my best, and we never made enough to hire some help. So I think that at least we keep the core alive. And the Chop started as live streams. So we go back to the roots. Fulani, I've made my potatoes au gratin, and now it's off to Easter dinner. See you all next week for Sasha's coronation. Yes, well said. 16 weeks in the making. Yeah, have a nice dinner. We already have dinner, and we actually didn't have our Easter proper dinner. We are going to have it as a lunch tomorrow, because I overslept this morning, and then I finished preparing all of my notes this afternoon. So, but it's okay. We don't really have this kind of thing for Easter. Like, Christmas is different. Christmas is completely different. Sen, gotta love the Paramount. A lot of love for this para. Fulani, I've made my potato. Oh, no, oh my god. Is it time to go to bed already? Tai, do you think that Sasha deserves to win based on the competition alone? No. No. I don't think so. I don't think so. because she got a win that she really didn't deserve, and she was very very nice and forward in saying that she really didn't deserve it. But if I understand the question correctly, I don't think she is the one who deserves it the most. And what I mean by that is that she did good. She is clearly an amazing queen, and she didn't make a mock of herself coming on Drag Race. She did her best, and her best showed. But I do think that possibly there are other queens who have done more, who just have done more. I think that Lucy did an amazing job. I think she's incredibly well-rounded, possibly the most well-rounded queen that we had this season. And I do understand that professionals never get to win a season of Drag Race. And that's what I think she was cast at. The fact that everything else then happened and changed the edit into another direction doesn't really change the fact that she was most probably cast as a professional. So, but I think she was the one who put, for me, the most effort in every aspect. Problem is, when she fell bad. Like, Lucy cannot lip sync. She cannot. Absolutely, she cannot. At the end of the day, you have to make with what you have. So I don't have, out of the top 4 that we have, I think Sasha probably did the best out of all of them. But I don't think that the performance alone is enough to say, well, out of all of these 16 queens, she was the one who deserved it the most. So I don't know. At the end of the day, Drag Race is never really a competition. It's a reality TV show framed as a competition. So you have to come to terms with the fact that, you know, there is this issue. And for me, it's not really a problem. As long as I'm having fun, as long as I am entertained and it doesn't show too much, I don't really have a problem with it. You will certainly not see me screaming like, no, this other person should have won. This, I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes you even see me rooting for the most chaotic possible win. I mean, I still think that Candy Muse would have been a fantastic winner for season 13, and I still believe it 2 years later. So, Jason, welcome! Hey guys, what do you think about Salina getting all pissed off at Lucy during a little speech about how Lux was very poignant? Salina was in her head. She said so, I think, in a Roscoe, that she was really in her head because of a lot of things, including the fact that she did very well in the interview, that everybody told her that she did very well in the interview, and then we saw what happened. So, you know. Mario, welcome! She already done her hearses. Yes, we are done hearsing. For, I don't know, half an hour? We finished hearsing half an hour ago? Yeah, I went through episode 14 like really quickly, because there was actually not much to discuss except a little bit of shitting on Lucy and setting up narrative, of course. And then most of my attention was for the reunion because it was, you know, interesting. Miss Top is healthy again. I am. I still have a little bit of a blocked nose, but I don't think it's really, you can really hear it. That's a good thing. I can pretend to be beautiful and healthy and in perfect shape, especially perfect shape, and not in my pajama because you cannot see me. Oh, good lord! I think Farrowin wrote you on Discord, Mario. So you should go and check that. That's Mr. King Johnny for you. What about Tyra's latest interview? I haven't seen it. Does he still goes as Tyra? I thought he abandoned the character of. Are we talking about Tyra Sanchez? I don't know. Damien, is Ass Titties inspired by Selena Quintanilla? Guys, what are you talking about? I'm not following. Lorelai's King Tyra. Yes, that's the name that he goes through. That he goes as these days. Or James. I thought people just refer that he wanted to be referred to as a he and as James. That's where the last that I knew. And at some point, I just decided, you know what, this is messed up for many different reasons. Everybody has their responsibilities. Just leave James alone. Let's just give everybody their space and let's call it a day. And that's where I kept that. So no, I haven't seen anything. I haven't heard anything. I hope he's better. I hope he's in a better mental space. King Tyra is on a comeback tour around the country. Oh, I didn't know that. It's going to be a hard one. It's going to be hard to come back from all that messiness from both sides. Not just James himself, also the fandom. So it's going to be a hard one. I wish him the best. That's what I can do. I wish that he grew past some things. I remember always him being coming off as very angry, with or without reason. I don't know, because I never really digged too much into that. Didn't see the point. But I remember I always had this impression when I maybe they were cherry picked, but I always he was always so angry, so pissed about things, and I'm like, yeah, sometimes I'm pissed as well, and sometimes you just want to vent. I understand that. Sometimes I'm really pissed as well, but it cannot be that 100% of the time, because eventually, even if you have every right to be so, people will be like, well, but I go to social media and I go to Drag Race and I go to shows and I listen to music. I want to be entertained. I can empathize with people being pissed for a good reason, but it cannot be that 100% of the time. I want to have some fun. That's the general vibe. So at some point I was just like, you know what? Let's leave James alone and call it a day. Tai, in which regular season do you think a double crowning was needed? I think Raja and Manila were the choice. Season 3 would have been a great choice. It was too soon, inevitably, but that would have been a great choice. I thought Season 9 also would have been a good choice. I'm not talking about the actual top two. I'm talking about Sasha and Shay. Would have been a perfect double crowning. Possibly. No, I think season 9 and season 3 pretty much is if we're talking about regular seasons, season 3 and season 9. Yeah, that's my final answer. Jacob, who would you say has had the most effective redemption storyline across Drag Race? Also, opinions on Drag Race UK? I think recently Raja O'Hara had one of the best redemption storylines. If we're talking about redeemed villains, if we mean something else by redemption, like, for example, underperforming very badly in a season and then performing really well, then I think maybe Yeah, that's a difficult question because for example, Ginger, it's not like she performed bad in season 7, but she never really popped out of the screen for me. She was, in a way, considering what she's really capable of, what we saw on All Stars, she was underperforming during season 7. So I'm tempted to say that, but it sounds kind of rude to say it from, a performance redemption from someone who was in the top 3. It sounds like you're shitting on them. But that's the first name that comes to my mind. If we're talking about villain redemption, then definitely Raja O'Hara. Definitely. Roxy could have had a very good redemption, but they took no advantage of it in All Stars 2. She was basically defending herself because the show was still a little bit of a different show than what it is today. And so real redemptions were not a thing. They were like the carrot to jiggle in front of the queens and say, "Yay, hey, look, redemption edit, you could have it," and then gaslight them and portray them like shit. So not even Roxy. She had a great comeback as a lip sync assassin. Remember the thick and juicy outfit where she had 3 reveals, one after the other? Was amazing. But no, Raja. Lorelai's Kylie Sonique love. I think she did great in season 2. We didn't see much, but I think she did great already. I wouldn't call that a performance failure. I would call that storyline. Nightmare Shangela is a great redemption performance-wise. We don't talk about the charitable queen of Puerto Vallarta. Johnny, Kylie did not have any story to redeem. Yeah, that was the point. They cut her out too soon. But for ages, she was part of what I considered one of the best lip syncs of Drag Race. Certainly one of the best before the VH1 era. I mean, Two of Hearts has been living rent-free in my mind for 13 years at this point. It was iconic, it still is iconic, and it's one of my top 10 lip syncs of all time. Yeah. Yes, Johnny, the gymnastics, yes. It's a lip sync competition, it's not a gymnastic competition. I was like, Morgan was so pointed. Nightmare, they secretly were expecting Roxy to snap at any moment. Remember the lip sync against Miss Relatable? Sometimes I wish I didn't. Yeah. Roxy even said it in an interview. She said it. They tried and tried and tried again, but I never snapped. I never gave them anything, talking about All Stars 2, and I was like, talking like a true redeemed villain. That's fantastic. That's great for Roxy, and she did her best to redeem herself, and I do appreciate that. She put effort, actual effort, working to deliver instead of just telling us that she changed. Tai, how did you know about Ariana Grande? What do you mean, how do I know about Ariana Grande? That she exists? Why do you know that this person exists? Oh. Johnny, Roxy's teeth are too white. Are you European? Because if you're European, almost every American's teeth are too white. They are on a different scale. Like if you go to the dentist, they literally have a scale of white that we don't even use here in Europe. It's a completely different cultural background. When I see people with that kind of white teeth, that might also be, you know, not veneers, like real teeth. They're just bleached very, very heavily, because that's what's expected in the US media. I'm like, I kind of feel weird about it. It feels like it almost feels like I'm talking to someone. And you know, when sometimes in summer, happens a lot in summer, people have sunglasses and you cannot really see their eyes. And it's kind of weird to talk to them because you try to look at them in the eye while you're talking. And you cannot really see their eye because they have sunglasses on. I feel the same way. I know it's weird. I know it sounds very weird. Well, I'm a weird person after all. But that's the same feeling that I get. I'm like, where is your real smile? Where I cannot see it. I'm like, I don't know. I think it's a cultural thing. Jacob, Eureka had a great redemption. Oh yes, absolutely. Had a great redemption in terms of her demonstrating her growth and maturity in All Stars that she didn't give before. Yes, absolutely. You're right. You're right. Oh, Eureka. My God, Eureka. Eureka is so hot. It's still the middle of the night. I can say that. Tai, do you think in All Stars 4 was planned for a double crowning between Manila and Latrice, but Latrice underperformed and Manila was kicked out? I don't think that it was already planned, a double crowning. I think that it's something that the audience likes to believe, but I don't think that there was a double crowning planned. Because if there were, then they would have actually filmed a double crowning between Trinity and Monet. But they didn't. They had to patch together two different single crowning with a voiceover from RuPaul, a bad voiceover from RuPaul, telling us that they were both the winner baby. So if they already planned a double crowning that was to go to Manila and Latrice, which, by the way, would have made for an amazing storyline, they would have probably filmed a double crowning regardless, even if they had two other different queens, because that was basically the plan. Also, if they really want a queen to win, they don't put her in the bottom during All Stars, period. They just don't do it. Or they find other shenanigans in order to save them, changing the outcome of a lip sync, for example, or finding excuse not to send anyone home. So I think that from this point of view, the audience, in this case specifically, would have been way better at storytelling than the actual producers of Drag Race. Because the Manila and Latrice storyline could have been a great storyline, but they had way more fun taking advantage of a more confident and also privileged. I don't like to use the word privilege because it always have a negative connotation in the English language. But if you know what I mean, that she tasted not being poor anymore. Actually, you know, being recognized for your talent, being able to buy the things that you want to buy, being seen, more confident, more whatever it is. It was way more convenient to portray her as a complete villain in All Stars. So, I don't know. Johnny, I liked Eureka on her original season. I didn't dislike her, but you could see that it was mostly editing. If you rewatch the season, you can see that it was mostly the editing. The fact that she went home so soon, how she went home, because there was a clear storyline in there. Like Eureka and Trinity were cast together because they had beef. So the moment Eureka exited that, it kind of didn't really come through. And when she came back again the season after, she was not able to really deliver based on that relatable storyline that she got the season before. So that was the real problem for me. When I saw the real change was when she came back again. You know, independently of season 10, the top 3 or whatever, the big girl wins and that. We saw also a different side of her, social media wise. So I did not dislike her in the beginning. I always had a bias, that's for sure, a positive one, but I never found her interesting. Not in that way, no. That came later. Lorelai's, they gave Latrice the opposite of a redemption storyline in All Stars 4. Yes, absolutely. What's the opposite of a redemption? That's a good question. A fall from grace kind of edit. Maybe we should call it that. The fall from grace edit. And wait for some people to pick up on that. Jason, can you tell me fun facts about minerals? Oh God. Only if you dressed up like the lady from the cookie wrapper in the trash. Only. Johnny, she was a little annoying, but I liked her. Yes, that's how she came off. Do you remember all of the fights of season? Oh my God, it was a little bit too much. I liked the Vixen too. I did not like the Vixen during her season. She had good points. I will give her that. The Vixen was one of the first queens to break the fourth wall and actually discuss editing while filming Drag Race. I'll remember that vividly. It was an episode of Untucked, and she was having a fight with Aquaria, and she said the problem is that people watching at home will only see a black queen screaming to a white thin queens, and then they will make up their mind based on that. So that I will never forget. That really got to me. I was like, I don't care if you're being portrayed as a villain, you have a very good point there. Nightmare, like when Trinity was only in the bottom, the only episode without elimination. I like her, but she's always been the production protege. Johnny, a contamination story, according to dictionary, is it? Mario, I have not had the chance to hear facts about amethyst tonight. Maybe you can help with that. Well, amethyst is most definitely a type of quartz. And if you know that, you can touch my boobies. If you don't know that, you can touch my boobies anyway, because they need to be touched and Mr. Invisible is sleeping. And then, you know, you can dress up like the lady from the cookie wrapper in the trash. And then show me your vagina, which is located somewhere next to your stomach. Don't ask me why. That's just how the song goes. Oh, for that you can touch my boobies, Johnny. Yeah. Let's touch everybody's boobies. Let's see which one has the best. I can tell you, I have a very good pair. They defy gravity. So, Mario, girl, I want to see the clip. Yes, don't shout. I'll show you the clip, and then you can show me your
Bullshit.
Oh no, wrong clip.
Wow, amethyst is a type of quartz. For that, you can touch my boobies.
There you have it. One more.
Wow, amethyst is a type of quartz. For that, you can touch my boobies.
Sex, sexy sex, boner, uterus, fallopian, the pillow in the living room. Jacob, are there any other terms created by this group to use when watching Drag Race, like God Crunch? God bless the God Crunch. That came during a Jackbox game night. And there was a whole slide. Like at some point, you had to create a synonym, and then you had to create like a description. And I don't know, I think it was Amateur. She came out and say like, for example, use the word "got crunch" in a sentence. Jimmy, finish your got crunch before you can go to Got Crunch Academy and learn how to got crunch. I was like, the fuck? I mean, at some point we have our own terminology on a lot of things, but got crunch did not come from me. Crunch came from you guys. So I am glad that I have found my peers. Nightmare, this is getting steamy. Who can say no to a good pair of male boobies? What? Also called mubes. Also called mubes. Jacob, I found the whole song that the Amethyst clip is from, and it's a masterpiece. It is. It is. You should watch from the same enlightened author, also, you know, known as Rachel Bloom. You should go incredible songs like Pictures of Your Dick, which is one of her fantastic works. I'm not talking about anything Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. That came later. I'm talking about songs from her very self-produced album called Please Love Me. And great songs like Pictures of Your Dick, like Fuck Me, Ray Bradbury. That's a great song. Die When I'm Young. It's also a great song. I Steal Pets. It's a clean parody song about stealing pets from people that mistreat you in school and be like, you know what, I'm going to fucking steal your pet. And you're going to deal with it. So that now you learn from being nasty to me. So, you know, that's an amazing, amazing performer. I was a huge fan of Rachel way before she achieved international acclaim for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I was really, really happy to find out that she was actually recognized. That was amazing. She won a Golden Globe for that. Can you remember? The person talking about cookie wrappers in the trash and telling you that amethyst is a type of quartz and for that you can touch your boobies won a Golden Globe. And it was very well deserved. Very well deserved. I'm going to celebrate by vaping. Shoes. Shoes. Oh my god, shoes. I don't know about you, but I am currently obsessing on the shoes floor show from Dragula. YouTube suggests it to me constantly. Every fucking video that I open, there is a suggestion for that because I religiously watch it at least 2 or 3 times a day. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. There is a side of my brain that can be autistic like that. And it's been like this for literally months. Months. Imagine what it is like to live with me. Because this is something you would be exposed multiple times on a daily basis for months. So I love that. I love that. Dracula is so good. I'm going to rewatch Titans. Like soon. Like in a couple weeks, I'm going to rewatch the whole thing. It was so good. Good lord. Jason, I am so happy that I now have Rachel locked into my phone. And yes, you can touch my boobie is my ringtone. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, at least, nobody says that we do not uplift queens. We also try to make her, iconic in their own unique way. So Amethyst will always be a type of quartz in here. Oh yeah, I can send you the link. Yeah, sorry. YouTube has to block. I have it as a setting. Unfortunately, I have to have it because we used to get bots spamming in the chat, so I had to lock all of the links. There we go. So this is the masterpiece. And now for my personal suggestions. If you only know from early Rachel Bloom, like early, before she became the crazy ex-girlfriend, because everything that came out from that show, it's golden. With Let's Generalize About Men as one of my favorite of all time. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to go with the classic. We are going to go with the classic. Hey, there we go. Sen, oh my god! I also have You Can Touch My Boobies as a ringtone, as a notification for the live stream, and to wake my ass up. Oh shit, yes. Mario, have you all talked about the fact that Poppy went full on Rebecca Glasscock? That's what... No, we didn't. We didn't, but that's what Mr. Invisible said. I completely forgot about it. When he saw her, it was like, oh my god. Amethyst is that? No. It went like, oh my god. She is Rebecca Glasscock from season 1. I liked it. I liked it. It made her unique, you know? Poppy is really another missed opportunities. I think she had great potential on the show. Great potential. Like Maddie. They are kind of connected souls in my fantasy. I need to see a show hosted by Queen Poppy and Metamorphosis. I need that in my life. I need it. I have to have it. With a side of meatball, because why not? And if you don't know who Meatball is, I forgive you. Because I'm all healed up and I am my angelic Hera. So I forgive you. Bobby could walk children in nature. Nightmare, I have so much respect for Maddie. She has shown through and through that she loves drag so much. Absolutely. She's an incredible example. She's an incredible example. She is doing great. I hope that her talents would be more recognized because somehow, and this is also part of the show, the influence of the show, of course, but people think of Metamorphosis as the straight queen, you know, and I mean, as a drag queen, she has incredible wit. And she can really, you know, it's not like something that she prepares, something that comes natural. So it's incredibly entertaining. I like it. I like it a lot. Reminds me a lot of Bianca Del Rio. If Bianca Del Rio learned to be more, how can I say, measured with her words. Jacob, yes, Maddie's talk show on YouTube is so good. It is. It is. I saw some snippets here and there. She just has presence. Subdue. Thank you, Nightmare. You see, I also get to I also get to learn more English. Yes, I even know that word. But then again, it's 2 in the morning, so I can afford that. I can afford that. I wonder if at some point I will have live streams like in plain afternoon, and people will realize that it's always been an excuse. That it's like, oh, it's 2 in the morning, it's 3 in the morning, I am tired, I want to go to sleep, my brain is disconnected. It's not that my English is fucked up. It's just late. Oh shit. Tai, looking back to season 14, do you think that Willow was the correct choice? We'll see her soon for the finale. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's who I was rooting for. She was the best choice to me. I could have seen Lady British winning. Yeah, I could have seen that. But no, Willow was unique among the uniques. So yes. Mario, it's 2 in the morning, she said while cracking open another bottle of wine. It's water. Hear it. It's a glass bottle from the soda stream. Because we love nature, so we don't buy water in plastic bottles. You know something? We had to redo the kitchen because the one that we had a water leak, and it was something that I basically gutted from IKEA to make it fit to this kitchen because we didn't have any money. We actually had to ask money to our in-laws when we moved here because we couldn't buy the electronics, you know, the fridge, the dishwasher, the washing machine. We didn't have money for that. So we were on an extra budget, so I got a thing from IKEA and somehow made it fit. And I didn't seal it properly, so after 3 years, part of it was rotting. So I was like, okay, let's change the kitchen. But I was like, you know what? I have a table saw. I could actually, because a good part of this furniture is good melamine, I could reuse it, you know. I could, instead of removing it, having to bring it to the car, then to bring it to the trash place, which has a name that I cannot recall. Instead of doing all of that, I could just cut them, make, for example, new shelves, or since I had to build a triangular cabinet, I can use it for that, and I can reuse it, and it's, you know, environmentally friendly, and I have a little bit of fun doing it, and I don't have to fucking carry all of this shit to the trashing place. So I did that, and I was like, look at me, I am so environmentally friendly, I am reusing. And then the house was full of dust because I don't have a proper vacuum cleaner. So the moment I start the table saw, basically the whole house floods in dust. Oh shit. And it's not even finished yet. Imagine that. Cleaning dust is literally the worst job that you could ever do in the house, because you think you have cleaned, then the dust collected on the walls. Then you open a window, you have a breath of Daytona winds coming into the house, and then everything is dusty again. Oh shit. Jason, Rock'em Sakura is another twisted soul that I live very much for, like Maddie. Yeah, unfortunately, every time I think about Rock'em Sakura, I think about her waving from a window in the first floor while being pleasured from behind. And I cannot help it. That's the image that I have in my mind. I'm sorry, I cannot help it. Jacob, if you could crown any non-winner tonight, who would it be? Geometric? Why not? I support that. Go ahead, crown her. I support that. Also, did you see the conflict between Kimora and Adriana? Gia did a phenomenal job at diffusing it. I don't remember it. I don't remember it. There has been so much Drag Race that iconic moments, unless they are incredibly highlighted, they don't stick to me anymore. Like for older season, I can literally even quote things words by words, remind you the context, what led to a specific thing. I cannot do it with newer seasons anymore. They just don't stick. They just don't stick unless it's very, very peculiar things, like you know, when Maddie was outed on the show, for example, or the whole eating a bug for money from last season. I want to see Gigi and Valentina come back. They grew so much since their season. I don't know about Valentina. I am completely fine with what I saw on All Stars. Going from being a little bit... Going from giving out the perception that she was full of herself into a comedy delusional thing, I think it was a fantastic transformation. But no, I'm more curious about Gigi. I want to see Gigi more. I'm happy with what I saw with Valentina. I want to see Gigi now. It's her time. It's time for her to come. Jacob, it was a post-season drama that was addressed in person at a panel. Oh no, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I read something on Reddit a couple of months ago about Kimora Moore. She apparently said something, but I can, for the love of me, I cannot recall what it was. I cannot recall what it was. I remember when I read that, I remember the way I felt. I felt it was bullshit. Like that she was trying to do something and then she got called out for it and then she tried to cover it up. This is what I remember. It's amazing that I can remember with such clarity what I thought of something without remembering what that fucking something was. I think it's pretty weird. But, you know, different brains works in different ways. I need more nicotine. Let's give it a vape. No, Mario, I can assure you it's water. And I can move my electronic cigarette on the rips of the water bottle. Because you know that this is a water bottle from that specific brand. So it's the same bottle wherever you are in the world. So you know how it's made. Oh, good Lord, no. Don't. Please don't. My desktop wake up for some reason. And it's going to disconnect my second screen. Please don't. Shit. Oh, God. Okay, let's try to sort this out. Why did it wake up? Because probably Windows wants to update itself. Isn't it true, Windows? Yeah, try to update itself. I need the second stream. The second... Oh, God. I need the second screen for the stream. So please, desktop, shut down. You are a good computer. You are doing your job for the channel really well. Now go fuck yourself. Otherwise, I don't see the chat. Where is it? Okay, let's reconnect this. The good thing that you don't see my laptop. It's really a good thing. Jason, I gotta get milk. Hopefully not chocolate milk. And bread for my breakfast. So I will see you all next week. Thank you for coming. See you next week. Nightmare, she has thrown shade toward Giselle. I like her. Oh yes, it was about Giselle. I perceive her to be very straightforward, but I don't love following people who are always making drama. Yeah, drama, I found it very annoying. I enjoy some drama. If you like make a deep dive about it and you start, getting the receipts, contextualize it. Yeah, I like it. I don't dislike it. But I don't have like a fetish for drama. Yeah, oh yes, it has to be drama all of the. No, girl, let's have. I mean, at the end of the day, the shit that you get exposed to is the thing that influence the way you feel and the way you act. So no, I'm not interested. Thank you. Scarlet Envy deserves a redemption competition-wise. She is so underrated. Yes, but I hope that everybody saw it already from All Stars. I mean, that talent show. That talent show was the All Stars talent show. Damien, Mario, what era are you entering right now? She is in her slightly drunk era, approaching her go-to-sleep era. Jacob, has anyone who's fan of your channel approached you in real life, not in a psycho way? No, nobody has no idea who I am at all. And I really appreciate that. It's nice. It's nice. I am not famous by any means. I'm not even famous on YouTube by any means. I mean, the moment you see my work recycled by other people and people don't even know that happened, I wouldn't even say that I am famous on YouTube by myself. But no, it never happened. And that is something that I do really like. I mean, I am not a closed person. I can open up about things or my experiences or things that happen to me if I want to make a point or if I want to give a suggestion. So I'm open in that manner. But other than that, I'm kind of a more private person. I really do enjoy my privacy. And that's not just a thing that's related to the channel. It's a general thing. It's one of the reasons why I never use a smartphone, for example. I do not enjoy companies knowing where I am located, which applications I use, which kind of information I share on those applications. I don't enjoy any of that, so I don't use it. It's really a general thing. Damien, what's like being addressed by a fraction of the world as top? It was weird in the beginning. It was very, very weird. And then I was like, well, they gotta call me something. You cannot simply say that guy. So, it's a nickname. You get used to it. It was it was a little bit embarrassing in the beginning, but then I was like, yeah, people have to call you something. I just got used to it. Orky Dude, isn't Scarlet Envy rumored to be on UK versus the World number 2 with Miss Relatable? Oh my god, I'm not going to watch that. If this is true, I'm never going to watch that. Fuck it. I'm sorry, Scarlet. If it's true, nope. I pass. Oh, maybe we should watch it. Wash it. Oh god. Maybe we should watch it and remember the world, how relatable Miss Relatable is. Should we do that? We'll see. We'll see. Sen, I got my homework done. Good for you. Now you can finally relax. Jacob, what did Miss Relatable do? Oh shit, we always get there at some point, don't we? She called Asia a cunt. Sorry for the word. I know it's a heavy and loaded word. I should have maybe said C word. So if anybody heard it, I'm sorry. She did that in many different interviews. Passed it as a joke for some reason. It was very passive aggressive. She insulted her, not only verbally. She insulted her performance. She told her, I could teach you how to do relatable drag. It was a load of bullshit. But for me, the worst part when she actually tried to justify a form of SA. And I cannot, please don't write it. please don't write it in the comments. We don't want problems on this channel. So if you want links, you can ask on Discord, and I'm sure some good souls will provide them. But that's all I can say here on YouTube. Damien, Miss Relatable did not take a trip over to Tea and Crumpet Land. Debunked. I don't know what that means. Jacob sounds like she was super envious and bit. Oh yes, yes. For someone that was like having a brand that was all about having fun and being relaxed and innocent fun, you know, she looked incredibly calculated after that. And she proved also in All Stars that she was. Remember what she did to Angina? I thought it was very regretful. Okay, let's go to bed. It's 2 in the morning. Time to call it a night. I will see you back next Sunday for the crowning of Madonna, as it should be. And I hope that I find time to have something special coming soon. And that's it. I hope you have a great week. We'll see you on Discord, especially you, Mario. I will see you on Discord. And for everybody else, I'll see you next week. Same place, same time. In the meantime, have a great week. I'll see you soon.